Welcome to XtremeFab. In this video, we're going to show you how to apply parts. The last video we showed you how to set XtremeFab up. In this video, we're going to actually apply parts. Once again, to apply parts in XtremeFab, your drawing has to be made up of rectangles or polylines, closed polylines, which all my vertical and horizontals are. Once you have that, you have your elevation. It doesn't really matter what it is, and this is just a standard 2D elevation with regular polylines. I pre-drew this. Now the first thing to notice, XtremeFab works on AutoCAD from 2007 all the way to 11. I'm using AutoCAD 2010, but it does work in the 11 and all the way back to 2007. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to XtremeFab and I'm going to go to my Apply Parts. First thing that comes up, project data must be filled out when starting a new project. I'm going to click OK. If I put in my project test name, I'll call this a school. Project number, we'll call it SC-0012. Click apply, and this is going to bring up my parts application dialog. And here, the first thing to notice, I've got an assembly type such as sill, horizontal, vertical, head. And the first thing I'm going to do is pick a sill from here. I'm going to pick an assembly. And I'm going to pick a sill because I want to apply parts to my sills down here. Okay. You'll notice the assembly tag was an S, and I had set that in my presettings under assembly types. Now I'm going to name my assembly. This might be a S-00012, so I can save that assembly data for later. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some parts. So I'm going to go down here to the Add Part button, and I'm going to add a part, and I'm going to type in a part number. And this will be whatever part number you have. And I'll just call this KW-001. And I'm going to pick from my part description a drop down back member, and this was also preset in my presettings under part descriptions. I'm going to pick a preset finish, a preset color, and we'll do bronze, and a part tag B. If I had a machining on here, if I had a machining on this back member, I could actually label it as an M1 or whatever. Now I'll add another part, and we'll call this a KW-002. And we'll add a pressure plate, and we'll say this is mill finished. We'll just call it bronze. We'll call it a pressure plate. And I'm going to make a deduction on here because many times when you want to create your pressure plates, you actually deduct so much off the ends of them. So here, if you add this in, it'll actually deduct it. So I'm going to add another part. We'll call this KW-003. We'll call this a cover cap. Once again, I'm going to make a deduction of 1/8 of an inch, and we'll call this Kynar, bronze, and C for cover. Now you don't have to put in finishing color. If you know your finishing color is the same throughout the whole job, you don't really have to add that because you won't have to sort by it. But if you wanted it to actually pass it through to your optimization program or whatever, you could add these in. Now once I have done that, I can save this assembly data. So if I have to put this assembly in later, I can. So I'll save that assembly data. Now I'm going to actually select the parts I want to apply this to. So I'm going to select parts on drawing. I'm going to select my sills. And then I'm going to save data to drawing. So I'm going to click Save Data to Drawing, and what it's doing is it's applying all this data to these horizontals. So these horizontals now have all this part data applied to them. Okay. So once again, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to do a horizontal, and I'll call this a H-00012, and I'll add a part, and this will probably get a different back member, so KW-004. Part description, once again, it's a back member. Finish Kynar, color bronze. V for a tag. I'm going to add another part, and you can also right click up here. You can add a part, add from an assembly, or match properties. So I'm just going to add a part, and I'll use a different pressure plate. And I'll make that mill again. And you don't have to add one there. And I'll call that a P for a pressure plate. And once again, I'll add another part, and I'll use the same cover I used, so now I just have to click in the box. And once again, I'll make a deduction, and then minus 1/8. And then I'm going to select my parts on my drawings I want to apply this data to, once again, and I'll apply it to the horizontals. Save data to drawing, It's actually going to go through and save this data to the drawing. Okay, now I have applied the data to my sills and my horizontals, and just for the sake of saving time, I'm going to leave it like that. And what I'm going to do is lay down another elevation real quick. And I'm drawing my elevations with Athena. But all Athena does is produce a regular 2D polyline elevation. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to apply these sills to these sills. So once you apply your main parts, you don't have to apply them again. So I'm going to pick sill once again, and I'm going to go over to I'm going to go over to my copy parts. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click the sill where I already applied data. And what that's going to do is going to bring all those parts back in with all my settings from that. And I'm going to select my parts on a drawing, select my sills, and it's automatically going to save that data to the drawing. So the key thing to remember is once you apply parts, I'll do it with the horizontals, and what I'm going to do is once again copy parts. I'm going to grab this horizontal. It just brought in that same part, and I'm going to select my horizontals on this side, save data to drawing, and it'll actually save that data. Now copy parts means just that. It's a match properties tool. It'll allow you to match properties from one elevation to the next. Many times you'll have 20 elevations and they all have the same part, so there's no sense of typing all this in again. Once you do that first elevation, you'll normally find that all your parts are in, and you can just copy parts to the rest of the elevations. Clear all parts will clear all parts from these dialogues. Clear last row of parts. If you actually put another row in there, it'll actually clear this last row. And then clear all data will clear all the data in the drawing. Okay, so that's just an explanation of the dialogue. If you want to add a remark to any of the parts, you can. You can specify where you want to store your project data. Okay, add tag to drawing is when we're done, we'll add some tags to the drawings. And then you can create a table, or you can create a parts list. If you stretch your elevations out, you have different size elevations now, you can update all tags, and that'll go through and reiterate and update your tags for the new sizes and produce a new set of tag drawings. So right now I'll save the tag data to the drawing. So now what I've done is I've saved the data from here, this elevation over to this elevation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually apply some tags. Now I can click show tags, or I can apply tags right from the data. And what I'll do is I'll add tag to drawing, and place tags on drawing dialog will come up, and it'll show you have some assembly tags, you have a part tag, and then it'll list the individual tags in the drawings. You got some back member, pressure plate, and cover cap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the assembly and all the parts, and I'm going to have my text size set at 2 inches. Click place tags, and at this point it's going to go through and it's going to completely tag the elevations. And you'll notice I got a back member type 1 -A for the length. Now same back member, but it's a different length, so it's a B. Same back member, different length, so it's a C. This B1-B would be the same length as this one, and this A would be the same length as this one. Now up on the horizontals, I had a back member, but it was a different type of back member, different part number, so it's a B2, and then it's a -AB for the length. Okay. Now on the assemblies, I have an assembly S1 for a sill 1. I have a sill 2, sill type 3, and then a sill type 2, which matches this exact sill here. So anytime they match, you will have that. Now if you want to put out an individual tag of your parts, say if you want to do a cover cap tag drawing, you just select covers. I'll make it 5 inches. Place tags, and now you have a cover tag drawing. Okay, so these are all the covers that are going to go on here. If I wanted to do just say an assembly tag for the guys that are going to assemble, once again, now here's all your assembly tags. So you can break these tags out and make different tag drawings. Very easy to do. And I'll go back and I'll do the assembly tags. And that's how easy it is to apply tags. Now when it comes to putting out a list, same thing. I'll go XtremeFab. Now I can do create parts list, or I can do it right from the main parts dialog, but I'll do create parts list, and I'll select both elevations, and I'll put my table over here. And here you can select, I'm going to do a part description, and I'll do a full list or a list with quantities. You can do your assembly list or your tag list, and I'll do a list with quantities. I'll have my text size be 2 inches. Click OK. And this is actually going to put out a parts list of everything I need on the drawing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put out a part list, add table to drawing. I'm going to select both of them. And I'll put this here, and I'm going to do a part description, list with quantities. Click OK. And this is actually going to put out a list, a full list with quantities of my complete parts list. And you'll notice I have 16 pieces of KW04 back member part tag B2-B. So anywhere we see a B2-B up here, that's the part for that. Okay. The other thing it'll put out, if I want to name the elevation once again, I can say this is CW1, project phase 1, building 2, wall location west, thus required 3, and I can apply it to this elevation. And once I do, when I put out a table, once again I'll put that over here. I can do a part description, list with quantities, click OK. It'll actually put that part list out with that information from that elevation, where it's located, and the whole works. Okay, and request how much it's required, and you'll notice it multiplied the list. Okay, and that's how you apply parts in XtremeCut or in XtremeFab. And next video we'll show you how to do some more stuff with outputs.